Hello and welcome back to the MODUS Super Series. We're here once again for another fixture draw for the Red Dragon MODUS Super Series Influencer Darts Showdown event. This time, it's a Champions Edition, so we needed some champions to help us with the draw. We've got Owen Binks, who's refereed both events and will be refereeing the third, and we've got the Governor, George Noble. Fellas, how we doing?
I'm very good, mate. I'm very excited for this tournament next Sunday. It's going to be the best one yet.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, when it was first introduced, I know it was a brainchild of yours, and I wasn't too sure myself how it would go, but it's been fantastic. A great addition to the Super Series, and I think culminating the finals now, and it's actually all the influencers have really bought into this event, and I'm sure they all want to win it. Well,
let's take a little trip down memory lane, fellas. We've had two events so far, the two most successful streams on the MODUS Super Series YouTube channel, and over £2,000 raised for charity. We've had some big winners. We've had George Scaife and Adam Lipscomb as the first pairs winners, and we have Steve West and Darts for Fun as the second pairs winners. And then we also have AngryGinge and Charlie Murphy as the singles winners. Some big names there, and thoroughly deserved, you'd say, Owen.
Yeah, I mean, Darts for Fun is genuinely, off his own back, just a really decent darts player. I think maybe one day we'll get him on the in a Group C. I don't know if he's lucky. I think he's good enough, in my opinion, but I don't pick that. Just PieFace. PieFace has got a bit of previous. He's won a tournament. He was really good. And also we've got Jackmate coming as well. I'd like to see them two. They've got to have their third and final decided match. That'll be a cracker.
George, obviously the quality is potentially better than people would have expected. 2 180s across both tournaments so far.
Well, I remember when you guys said let's give them. Yeah, I remember distinctively. I think yourself and Taylor said to me, let's give them £500 for every 180 they hit. And I said, well, I'm not sure about that because I didn't know how good they were. And we decided we'd give £100 for every 180. It was it, and the first shot ever from an influencer was 180. So I mean, there are some of them are pretty good, and obviously as the guy we know who's playing Darts for Fun, he's very good. So he's potentially, I would say, he's probably good enough to play in the Super Series. So we have to handicap him somehow.
We certainly do. We'll get into that a little bit later. But Owen, obviously you were speaking about the lineup for this time. So let's take a look at that lineup, because we've got 6 returning players from the influencer side and 2 brand new ones. We have got Danny Aarons and Jackmate, like you referenced, and these are the pairs who will be partnered up with each other. We've got AngryGinge, Jaden Walker, PieFace and Ted Everts, Jackmate and Fallon Sherrock, Danny Aarons and Mason Whitlock, Charlie Murphy, Glenn Durrant, Sean Nyland, Gemma Hayter, and then we've got the 2 champions, George Scaife, Adam Lipscomb, Darts for Fun and Steve West. This was voted for by the public. Do any pairs stand out to you there?
Do you know what? Yeah, I'm just looking at that now. For me, AngryGinge and Jaden Walker are going to be hard to beat. In fact, I'm going to put out there now, I think they win it.
Ironically, they've played on that stage together.
They have. Then again, you can't write off George Scaife and Adam Lipscomb because they're previous winners. And they're quite tidy, but AngryGinge, I was quite impressed by him. He was better than I thought he was going to be. Not as good as Darts for Fun, but I think Darts for Fun was carrying Steve West for a lot of that. I hope he doesn't see this. Might not get in a bit of trouble for that, but yeah, I'm going AngryGinge and Jaden Walker.
George, what's your opinion on Jackmate and Fallon Sherrock? Obviously, Fallon Sherrock, a massive name in darts, but you know a little bit about Jackmate, actually.
Oh yeah, Jackmate. I think Jackmate's had a few games with PieFace, so Jack can play a bit, I think. So I think Fallon's got to the final before of it, so I think they got a chance. But I mean, for me, I sort of agree with Owen, really. I think AngryGinge and Jaden Walker. I'm really interested to see how Jaden Walker does. He's a very young lad coming along, but he's actually very, very good, and he may well fit perfectly into something like this, and I'm sure he'll have a massive following in the crowd as well, so they'd be difficult to beat. And again, obviously Adam Lipscomb, I think they could defend their title. I think if you played it 2 days on the trot, you probably get different winners, but I think that's what most of the fun's about, really.
I think Jaden Walker's going to be on flames because he did that 9-dart challenge a couple of weeks ago, scored like 364. No one even got above 200, so 364 and 9 darts, random darts, under pressure. He's the one.
He did. I mean, if people don't know Jaden Walker, a 12-year-old sensation almost, and strangely enough has actually been on the Super Series stage before, got invited up by AngryGinge. But there's an interesting dynamic I want to kind of touch on here, is that Charlie Murphy and Fallon Sherrock were actually partners in the first event. They've now both gone on to have different partners, Charlie Murphy with Glenn Durrant and Fallon with Jack Mate. A very interesting dynamic because they're the only people who swapped around. Ted Everts and PieFace were together, and the champions were, of course, together.
Yeah, I think it's going to be difficult for Charlie Murphy, isn't it, going from someone like Fallon Sherrick to a current Glenn Durrant. I think that's a bit of a drop-off, bless him. But again, I hope he doesn't see this one. But yeah, I think they've got a good chance. I think they might have a little, have a couple of upsets maybe.
So
you're a bit harsh on Glenn.
Well, I think
I'm in trouble there, aren't I?
I think you've really endeared yourself to Glenn, and
I'm not going to get away with this, am I? I need to think before I speak. He's going to kill me.
that's one of your traits, Owen. But yeah, I mean, obviously, Glenn, and you've rubbish Glenn, you've rubbish Steve West. So if I was you, I'd probably take Sunday off.
I'm going to give someone a compliment in a minute. I think I'm a bit nervous now.
Well, you are actually going to be there Sunday, Owen.
I
don't know if you want to be now.
By the pair of them now, to be honest with you.
But I'd love to know what you thought of the crowd so far.
Well, I mean, how long did it take to sell out? The last two events sold out really quickly, but I think, what was it, within an hour this one sold out? Ridiculous. Really good atmosphere. You got a mixture of fans. Some of the fans are into darts, some of them are just into the influencers. So I think it's sort of it's a really good mix. Works really well.
What people need to remember as well is this is all for charity. AngryGinge, when he won it last time, he made reference to the Jack Dowding Foundation on his shirt. Obviously, a really important cause and actually a partner of the MODUS Super Series now on MODUS Sports Management. How important is it, George, to have something like a charity in this?
I think it's fantastic. I mean, it's a great event that raises money for a really good cause. I mean, for those people who don't know, Jack Dowding Foundation is run by Lawrence, his father. And Jack unfortunately passed away with a lot of bad side effects to diabetes, which is a disease that some of our people who work for us have, and I also have myself. So yeah, it's a great cause, and we're more than happy to get involved in that. If it can help just one person, it's a great thing.
Well, you mentioned actually there that people here were affected by it yourself, and someone else who's affected by it is Isabel Gin. She is actually a member of the MODUS Super Series staff, and she actually caught up with Lawrence Dowding a couple of months ago to learn more about Jack, the foundation, and why it was set up.
Unfortunately, we lost my son Jack, who died of juvenile diabetes. So basically what happened on the day, so I had some work I had to do in the garden. 8 o'clock in the morning I saw Jack, and we were chatting about things. He said he was feeling a little bit under the weather, and he didn't know if he was going to go to work. And I said, like typical dad, said, Jack, do your bloods, tell me where you are. And he said, no, Dad, I've done them, they're all okay, yeah, they're all fine, yeah, reassured me. I went out into the garden, did some work, came in about an hour and a quarter later, went upstairs to take a drink up, and he'd already gone. So he'd obviously had a huge high, and what that did was that would have stopped his heart, and that would have put him into a coma straight away. So my wife, who'd been a nurse all of her life, I called out to her, she rushed up, she tried CPR on Jack, and she did CPR until the ambulance arrived. But the reality was he'd already gone, and Angie, my wife, knew that, and obviously she was trying to be as delicate about it as she could, but she realised it was just very sudden, and if he'd suddenly gone like that and collapsed, and he was in his bedroom. If he'd been downstairs, all those things, but as a parent, you always think, oh, if I hadn't gone out and done this, I hadn't done that, could have I done it different? And that's all the things you'll always wrestle with in your life. But it just shows you how dangerous an illness it really is. I always thought of diabetes like a seesaw. It's as dangerous high as it was low, and unfortunately when we lost Jack, it wasn't a low, it was a high that actually, caused his passing. And it can come on quite suddenly. But like I say, if you've got a friend that is diabetic, just keep an eye on them.
A really touching interview there for an important cause. Right, fellas, it's nearly time to get into the draw, but there is one more thing that people need to know before we get into it. What will Darts for Fun be throwing with? Any predictions?
So he's got a handicap, that's all I've been told so far. He throwed with, I think it was 48 gram darts last time. Let's go with the lightest darts in the world. 10 gram darts, 8 gram darts, I don't know, how light can you go?
George, what about yourself?
Feathers. I have no idea, absolutely no idea, but I'm sure you've got some handicap up your sleeve, Jake.
Well, it certainly isn't feathers, maybe for the next one. But what it is nails. Darts for Fun is actually synonymous with throwing nails. He played against Steve West, who, funnily enough, you've refed Steve West using nails on this stage before. There's a viral clip going around where he checked out 115 bull, 15 bull with nails, and we actually rung him up to let him know that. But it wasn't just the nails we let him know about. there was actually something else. Hello, David, mate. How are we?
How are we doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm not bad, mate. I'm not bad. Are you recording?
I am recording, yeah. I'm not looking forward to this.
I'll start off. Obviously, you're here this Sunday. MODUS Super Series Red Dragon Influencer Darts Champion Showdown. Looking forward to it.
I am indeed.
Last time, obviously, you threw 38 gram darts. Did a good account of yourself though, even though you were using them.
It was good. It was 48 though, not 38.
48, yeah, I'm doing you a disservice to be fair. 48, you're right. And you know, we'd been surveying your socials a little bit. We saw that you would prefer to use, what was it, 12 gram darts over using nails?
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna make you use the nails anyway, mate.
You are?
Yeah, we're gonna make you use the nails on December 1st.
Oh, I'm well happy with that, you know. All I'm saying now is I'm not expecting to win with nails, but it's gonna be a good laugh. That's all that matters.
Well, it's actually not the only reason we rang you, David.
Go on.
So obviously you've been down to the MODUS Super Series as a player twice in the influencer events, and obviously, you know, you've been a great sport using 48 gram darts and then also now nails.
Yeah.
So in 2025, we would like to offer you a group in the MODUS Super Series main competition.
I don't know what to say there. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, we would love to offer you a group in 2025.
I'm well happy with that. I look forward to that big time.
Well, then you can show exactly what you're made of in that one.
Well, fingers crossed. I'll best get some practice in because I'm terrible at the moment. I'm so happy with that, honestly.
Well, David, thank you very much.
No worries. I'll see you very soon.
Well, there we have it. David Williams, Darts for Fun, will be playing a MODUS Super Series group in 2025. George, I'll start with you. A big opportunity for him.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I mean, I spoke to Jared earlier, and Jared obviously told me about him. I think he plays County A. He's a decent player, and Jared assures me that he's more than good enough to play in one of these groups. So let's see. I mean, it'd be interesting to go from influencer to participant. I mean, I don't think that's ever happened before. I think, you know, we've got this system where people go from amateur to qualify through the ADC routes around the world, but to actually come in as an influencer and obviously come back as a player, yeah, it'd be great. It'd be fantastic if he come back and won a week, wouldn't it? It'd be unbelievable.
Oh, and it actually reminds me a little bit of the Ashley Coleman story. He'll want to come in here and impress like Ashley Coleman did.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think I called it earlier. I said he should be given a group in the future, and he fully deserves it. He was throwing 48 gram darts, and I think for the first half of it, he was probably averaging about mid-80s. That I remember thinking, who is this guy? Because I didn't know a lot about him. But he's earned that, and I think he's got a chance.
Exciting times indeed going forward. But talking about going forward, it's time to go forward to that right there. The pairs are in there. It's time to start the draw. Owen Binks as the referee. Feels right for you to pull the first name out.
Right, here we go.
Give it a nice little spin.
Okay, right, let's give it a little mix up there. Here we go. Oh, here we go. George Scaife and Adam Lipscomb.
The champions from Event 1. Who will they be playing, George? This will be a tough pair to beat, Owen.
They will be playing Sean Nyland and Gemma Hayter.
Sean Nyland and Gemma Hayter. Adam Lipscomb, Gemma Hayter. Both locals. This is a local derby.
You can't beat a good local derby. I'm going to go for, my prediction for that is a Scaife and Adam Lipscomb win. George Scaife was a bit better than Sean Nyland in his event, so I'm going to go for them two to edge it.
Well, there you go. George, you can kick off the next round of fixtures. Who are we going to see? George Scaife and Adam Lipscomb currently out. Gemma Hayter and Sean Nyland. Hit a 180 last time, so, you know, that could be a really good pair.
Yeah. Cost me money. Jack Mate and Fallon Sharrock will play.
Big partnership there, Jack Mate and Fallon Sharrock, the Queen of the Palace and Jack Mate himself. Who will they be playing?
Well, that is some draw, that. AngryGinge and Jaden Walker. AngryGinge and Jaden Walker.
Wow, that is a massive fixture. AngryGinge, Jaden Walker will play Fallon Sharrock and Jack Mate. Don't want to miss that one. Owen, who else did I not want to miss? Get in there, mate.
Here we go. Danny Aarons and Mason Whitlock. Danny Aarons and Mason Whitlock.
The Mullet Gang. Mason Whitlock been in every event so far. Not sure he's won a leg, let alone a game. But he's back again, so let's go.
Tough draw. Darts for Fun and Steve West.
Well, there you go. Technically taking on two professionals at this rate. That's for fun, and Steve West would take on Danny Aarons and Mason Whitlock. Which means, George, who's left?
Charlie Murphy and our own Glenn Durrant.
Charlie Murphy, the singles champion, and Glenn Durrant, the champion of our hearts. Owen, who will they be playing?
So, last up, they are going to face PieFace and Ted Everts.
PieFace and Ted Everts, they actually played Charlie Murphy and Fallon Sherrick last time. PieFace lost to Charlie Murphy in the singles final. The lineups are on screen. We've got Scaife Lipscomb versus Nyland Hayter, Jackmate Sherrick versus Ginge Walker, Danny Aarons and Mason Whitlock versus Darts for Fun and Steve West, and finally Charlie Murphy, Glenn Durrant versus PieFace and Ted Everts. Owen, what stands out to you there, mate?
Definitely for me, the draw of the round there all day long. AngryGinge and Jaden Walker against Jackmate and Fallon Sherrick. I've seen AngryGinge play, I've seen Jackmate play. That's going to be close. I have heard that Jackmate hasn't practiced for a few months, so he might be at a disadvantage. AngryGinge, I reckon, has been working quite hard secretly beyond the scenes. But for me, that's the tie of the round. Yeah.
George, what about yourself?
Yeah, I think that's a big tie, that round. I think, obviously, Jackmate and Ginge are big in the influencer world, and I think the rivalry there, they'll both want to win that match. But I think the top game could be a decent game. Scaife and Lipscomb, Nyland and Hayter, because obviously it's a battle of the local professionals. So I think, that'll be a very good for the crowd. I think there'll be a lot of crowd interaction in that match. But I think I'd have to agree with Owen. I mean, Danny Aarons, I've never seen Danny Aarons play. Darts for Fun. That's probably a tough ask for Danny Aarons and Mason Whitlock to beat Darts for Fun and Steve West, I would suggest. But Danny Aarons may well surprise us. He may be very good. We don't know. Jackmate and Fallon Sherrick versus AngryGinge and Jaden Walker's probably. I actually just want to see Jaden Walker play. So I'm excited. It's like when I used to, I've done loads of darts over times, obviously, and there's certain players that you get your attention, you want to watch. Like your Phil Taylors, your Michael Van Gogh, your Luke Littlers, and in this lineup, the one I want to watch is Jaden Walker. No offence to anyone else who's in it, but.
Well, before we do the singles influencer draw, I think it'd be wrong to do something like this without getting predictions on who you think will win overall. Forget the fixtures, we know what the first rounds will be, but I want to know, who do you think wins it all? Owen, I'll start with you.
I've got to go for Darts for Fun. I know he's throwing nails, but what I saw from him, I was so impressed. Some people can throw nails. I've seen Steve West throw them quite well. If he can get a technique where he can actually get them in the board and he finds his rhythm, I'm going him. I think he's that much better than the next best player.
Darts for Fun and Steve West for you, Owen. What about yourself, George?
Yeah, they'd have to start as favourites, but I'm going to go. Well, you won't be surprised by this, so I'm going to go for AngryGinge and Jaden Walker. They're my pick to win it. AngryGinge, Jaden Walker. Don't let us down, Ginge.
So we'll get into the singles event draw now. Leave in the comments who you think will win the doubles. Well, here we go. George Noble giving it a good old stir, and we're straight into the singles event draw. Go on, George. Kick us off, mate. Attention.
Charlie Murphy.
The champion from event 1, Charlie Murphy. Owen, who will he be playing? Imagine if this was AngryGinge.
He's not. He's playing Sean Nyland.
Sean Nyland hit a 180 in the second event. Funnily enough, Charlie Murphy actually recommended Sean Nyland for that second event. I don't believe they've met, but I do believe they've played. Here we go. Fixture number 2.
Jackmate.
Jackmate. Now imagine if this was PieFace.
Oh, that's who I want it to be. I'm going to
imagine if this was PieFace. The absolute scenes.
Oh, it's a tougher draw than that. He's got AngryGinge.
He's got AngryGinge. That means he's playing AngryGinge in both the pairs and the singles event. Potentially a tough day for Jackmate, you think?
Yeah, he's not practiced for a long time, so I think he's in for a very tough day. That is a pretty woeful draw, I've got to be honest.
Well, fixture number 3.
Danny Aarons.
Starts with Danny Aarons. Who will Danny Aarons take on?
George Scaife.
George Scaife, another 180 hitter, the doubles winner, and he'll be playing Danny Aarons, which means we've got 2 final names. George, get them out to dot the I's and all that.
Here he is. PieFace.
PieFace, the man, the myth, the legend, and he'll be playing Owen.
Oh, he's playing Darts for Fun.
He's playing Darts for Fun. A tough opening fixture for PieFace. I believe that only means that Jackmate can play PieFace in the final. That's the only way we'll be able to see that rematch. Do you think they'll make it, Owen?
Do you know what? No, I don't think they will. That's not happening. PieFace isn't going to beat Darts for fun, and I don't think Jackmate beats AngryGinge. I don't think we're going to get the dream final. I don't think we're going to get the decider.
George, I actually think what stands out the most there is Charlie Murphy versus Sean Island. I actually think that would be a great game. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. Who start favouring the game? I think Charlie Murphy starts favouring that game just.
Well, I know you're actually a big Charlie Murphy fan. You played Russ Bray on that stage with Charlie Murphy flights. Let's take a look at the entire bracket and have a look at the fixtures properly here. We've got Charlie Murphy versus Sean Island, like we just spoke about. Jackmate versus AngryGinge. Seems we're kind of all in agreement that we'd expect AngryGinge to take that game. Danny Aarons versus George Scaife. Can't really look past the George Scaife win there, could we?
I have no idea because I've never seen Danny Aarons throw. So, have you? I don't know. Is he any good? I've heard he's not that great, but I'm not going to judge before I see him. On predictions, I'm going to have to go with Scaife, but who knows? He might turn out to be 92 average player, and we might be inviting him to the Super Series as well. Who knows?
George, fellow namesake, George Scaife there. You expect him to win that one?
Well, probably, based on that he's been here before and we know that he can play, but again, I have no idea what Danny Aarons can do.
PieFace versus Darts for Fun. Darts for Fun with nails. PieFace made a good account of himself last time he was here. He made the final of the singles event, losing narrowly to Charlie Murphy. Darts for Fun, we won't know how he will perform with the nails, but I think PieFace does actually have a chance there.
I think outside of Darts for Fun, PieFace is one of the better players on the list. It all depends on how good he is with nails. I mean, if he's as good as he was before, PieFace doesn't get close, but it's difficult, isn't it? Steve West was pretty good with nails, so maybe he'll pull it off. It all depends on if he can get the technique right and they stay in the board. And if they do, I think PieFace is in for a difficult challenge, yeah.
George, what are you thinking? Like we said, Darts for Fun handicapped with the nails. PieFace, good enough. How do you see it panning out?
I see Darts for Fun winning with the nails, to be fair. But then again, as Owen said, if he sticks him in the ball, then he'll probably win. PieFace can play though, so he's not like a forlorn hope. So I would say Darts for Fun would still start favourite with his handicap. I mean, if he had his own darts, he would start massive favourite to win the whole tournament. But we have handicapped him, or you have with the nails. So yeah, hopefully it'll be a leveller. I'd still slightly favour Darts for Fun in that match. Yes.
I think maybe the crowd might play a part though, because
yeah,
PieFace is massive. So I remember last time he had a lot of support that may play into his side, and he may get the win.
Yeah, great point there. Again, we can't really end this without getting predictions about your overall winner for this event. Owen, I'll stay with you. Who do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to say Darts for Fun. What I saw from him last time, I was so impressed. Mid 80s for most of it. In my head, I didn't obviously work it out, but no one else will come close to him unless he can't stick the nails in the board, and then it's going to be a nightmare, and he'll lose first round. But I'm going Darts for Fun to win.
An interesting take, because obviously he didn't win the singles event last time, and you could argue with easier darts. George, what about yourself?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough ask to win the whole event with the nails. I ain't saying he can't do it, but I think it's a big ask. I'm going to, based on what I've seen, I would probably say it comes down to Charlie Murphy, AngryGinge. Which one I'd favour? Probably very difficult out of them two. So I think either one of them could make the final. So who would I pick? Ginge, Murphy, Charlie Murphy, AngryGinge. Probably slightly favour Charlie Murphy in the other half of the draw.
Well, the two champions will be on a collision course for the semi-final if they both win their opening game. We can't guarantee who will win any of the games, but what we can guarantee is there'll be plenty of darting drama come December 1st at the Live Lounge here in Portsmouth. So make sure you're there. The MODUS Super Series YouTube channel, 3 p.m. Be there or be bloody square.